Here are Jordan and Jake of Family Cespedes Barbecue. Welcome back,
Hello.
guys.
Oh, it's so good to be back with you, Nick. How are you, my friend? You seem
I'm
like
doing great.
It's early. You got a long way to go in this PitchCon.
Oh no, yeah, but this is the fun. I just get to sit back and just watch all these amazing panels and presentations. I actually made this event just for me. I'm happy that other people get to enjoy it too. But I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'm already into it. I'm really excited. Take it away, guys.
All right.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Jake Mintz, I'm so happy to be with you here today to talk about one of our favorite things in this grand universe of baseball. As we see, we are going to be talking about LIDOM. What is LIDOM, Jake? Tell me.
LIDOM is the Dominican Winter League. The word LIDOM is the Spanish language acronym for the Dominican Winter League, Liga Dominicana. And it is the best. I spent 3 months down there a couple years ago. We have kind of fallen in love with the league over the last number of years. And it's a delightful version of baseball. And it's a good reminder that, the MLB, right? MLB is like the epitome of the sport, and we think about it and we put it on a pedestal often, but the sport is more than just that. And there are things, other baseball places that deserve to be celebrated. So we're going to go through that, and we're going to talk about some of the arms today. But a big disclaimer, Jordan, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I think this is important. I've seen a lot of the presentations here so far on PitchCon, especially, some of the ones involving, fantasy baseball or whatever. A lot of it is like, hey, this guy is actually really awesome at baseball, and you should get him on your team because he is going to be a Cy Young contender. He's going to carry your fantasy team. He is going to, get Cy Young votes, all these things, right? That's not. These pitchers are not going to be getting Cy Young votes in 2022. I would love to be wrong. Maybe something crazy will happen and one or two of these guys will get in the mix, but that's not what we're here to talk about. That's not, again, if you're looking for fantasy sleepers, you came to the wrong presentation, but we love these pitchers because they all have crazy journeys and crazy backgrounds, and they are still dominant in these leagues that we love.
Now, you're not going to make money off of watching this presentation. If that's your plan, I would recommend doing something else. But let's just get right into it.
Let's have a good time. Let's have a good time.
Here is a map of the Dominican Republic with the 6 Dominican Winter League teams logos over the map. We'll just go one by one quickly to give a little bit of background. This is Águilas Cibaeñas. They play in Santiago de los Caballeros. Think of them like the Red Sox if they didn't have the curse of the Bambino. They have 22 championships tied with Licey. Their biggest rival, will do them next, Tigres del Licey. They play in Santo Domingo. They are like the Yankees. They also have 22 titles. The rival between these two teams is better than Red Sox Yankees, in my opinion. They're also probably the 2 most famous teams. You've probably heard of them. Escogido, Leones del Escogido, shares a stadium with Licey. They're kind of like the Mets, except they have won championships more than 2. Escogido has 16. They're kind of the 3rd team in the country. Estrellas Orientales out here in San Pedro de Macorís, which is the cradle of shortstops, has San Pedro and Consuelo right above it right here, have the highest concentration of major league players of any municipality in the world. This is the team that Fernando Tatis Jr. plays for when he plays down there. Robinson Cano is on this team. They just lost in the finals. About 35 minutes to the east of them is Toros del Este. They play in La Romana. Right here, just to the east of La Romana, is a place called Casa de Campo, which is like the fancy resort area where David Ortiz has a house. And if you see big leaguers going down and vacationing in the DR, they probably are, which is why Tyler Glasnow popped up at a Toros game this year because he was staying at the resort. This is the team that had Peter O'Brien. This is the team that Puig played for a minute. Hunter Pence went down there and played for Toros. But the champions of the league this past season were Gigantes del Cibao up here in San Francisco de Macorís. Yes, they are the San Francisco Gigantes. That is not lost on anybody. They are the newest team in the league. They were started in 1996. They had only had 1 title before this season, but they were far and away the best team in the league. This team is Hanser Alberto, Marcelo Zuna, and their biggest rival is Águilas, just because of the proximity between the 2 cities. Jordan, anything I missed?
No, but Gigantes is a good transition into our first pitcher Huascar Braziban. Huascar Braziban. Now, this is the only name on this. Now, look, I understand maybe some of these names on this list, if you're watching, you've never heard of any of these guys or a bunch of them. But Huascar Braziban, I had never heard of even 3 months ago. But I am so happy to have him in my life now. This man was in the Rockies system for a while. His younger brother Gustavo was also in the Rockies system back earlier earlier this decade. He reached Double-A, but never quite petered out. He pitched in 2 different Lancasters in the California League in 2017, and then the next year in 2018 in Lancaster.
Lancaster and Lancaster,
Lancaster different. And Lancaster. Now he only has to pitch for Franklin and Marshall. We'll see if I don't know if he's eligible. Anyway, then he kind of goes away for a bit. He doesn't pitch in 2019. Obviously, doesn't pitch in 2020. And then middle of this year, 2021 or last year, because that's last year, he shows up back in independent ball with the High Point Rockers, and he is one of the better relievers in independent ball. And he had pitched for Escogido briefly. He was drafted by them way back in 2014, but only had 1 inning. But then somehow he ends up on Gigantes this year as a 32-year-old and was just incredible. And whatever he figured out in High Point, he carried it over into the winter. He had a .92 ERA in the regular season for Gigantes. He was their main guy. He wasn't really their closer, but he was 7th or 8th. They were just going to Huascar every day, and he was getting the job done. All of that he parlayed into signing with the Miami Marlins, which is very exciting. He signed on January 4th. So he will be in affiliated ball this year. And honestly, might be the most likely guy on this list, besides, we'll get to Cesar Valdez, to pitch in the big leagues in 2022. So this is a name you can't, if there is a fantasy sleeper on this list, it is the sleepiest sleeper. It is definitely Huascar Braziban. I would love to see this guy reach the big leagues. Here he is. We're going to see him striking out.
I don't know if I have video capability on here, Jordan.
All right. Well, the video's not working, but the point is actually, we should mention though, if you want to watch Huascar Braziban video, he has his own YouTube channel where he has uploaded some of his highlights. So if you just look up his name, and there are not a lot of Huascar Brazibans on YouTube, you can find his YouTube channel, and he uploads his own highlights. Which is
Click down below.
Click down below. Oh, there you go. But that's Huascar Braziban. He is at number 10 on our list, and I would love to see him in the big leagues.
All right. At number 9 is Jan Mourinhas, probably one of the more well-known players on this list. He had an extended career in the major leagues. Nickname is La Electricidad, the electric one. Jordan, tell me about Mourinhas.
Yeah, so I didn't realize. I remembered him, kind of with the Brewers and Pirates, and maybe some diehard Major League fans remember him as well. But he actually debuted as a 21-year-old with the Marlins way back in 2010, and kind of had a long journey. He bounced around a bunch of teams: White Sox, Rays, Brewers, Pirates, Rangers. Last team with the Orioles in 2018, but a 3.56 is totally respectable for a middle reliever. But ultimately, as we see 2016, we're looking at those percentiles there. We not a lot of StatCast pages for a lot of these pitchers, so I wanted to include this. But then 2017, it's starting to go downhill, and they start to get hit pretty hard. You see, he doesn't exactly have the fastball spin that a lot of teams are coveting nowadays. But the point is that he was pretty good in 7 teams, is pretty good. Like, that was a good pace. He could have caught Edwin Jackson if he really stuck around, but he hasn't been in the big leagues. But in LIDOM, my goodness, this dude has been a beast. He has pitched for Toros in 11 straight winters. His ERA even better down in his homeland. 2.64 ERA and 156 regular season innings. Just the same in the playoffs. And he pitched for the Dominican Republic in the Olympics last summer in Tokyo, which is why you will see, if you go on Instagram and you follow some of these players, a lot of them have just the letters OLY. They're all Oli in there, just so you don't forget that these dudes are Olympians, bronze medalists. And this guy, I mean, he will never let you forget it, for sure.
It is kind of hard to explain, like, how big of a deal them winning the bronze medal was down there, right? Like, it's one of the highlights of many of these players' careers. It's very, very, very cool.
It's so cool. So, but also the other thing to know about him is this dude is a fashion icon. Jake, tell us about the photo on the left.
So I took this photo on the left. I saw Jan Mourinhas walk into the dugout. I looked at his shoes and I saw Louis Vuitton logos the top of his shoes. And I said, that's probably not actually Louis Vuitton, but I need to ask him about it. And anybody, who puts the effort in to pick up trainers with an LV on them, I had to snap a pic.
Yeah, he's a very fashionable man. He's also just he models. If you go to his Instagram, highly recommended. Just an incredible level of drip for especially for a reliever. We see him modeling there next to a nice Rolls Royce. I don't know if that's his or not. Looks like we got a Lambo in the background, and then on the right, I think is really an important example. What a shirt from Jean Mourinhas. Very similar, if not even brighter than the one we just saw David Ortiz wearing when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. But again, this is just a small sample of the level of just fashion that this guy brings. And then the other thing, I know the video is not working, but he hit a double, and he has a major league hit. And I encourage everyone to look this up on YouTube. Jean Mourinhas double in Coors Field, no batting gloves, up by 7. It is a great highlight, and we love Jean.
The announcer literally goes, "Wow!"
So we love Jean Mourinhas. All right, who's number 8?
It's Liz. All right,
It's
Rodimus Liz. Rodimus Liz. You probably remember him from the late aughts Orioles, where he was bad and wild, and you were like, "Oh wow, his name is Rodimus Liz." Like that definitely sticks in your mind. He didn't stick around in the big leagues, though, ended up going to KBO and was outstanding there for a 3-4 year span. One of the best starters in the league. That earned him a trip back to the big leagues, comes back up with Pittsburgh, struggles again to stick, still too wild, but making it back to the States got him another gig in Japan and then back to AAA. And then he went to Taiwan, which we're going to talk about in a second. And then he ended up where all slightly wild pitchers go when they're in their 30s, the Mexican League. The entire time, though, Jordan, he has pitched for Estrellas Orientales, and here he is. I went down this winter, and I saw him throw against Escogido at home, and he was sitting in the mid-90s at 38 years old. It was an incredible thing to see. He hit 97. I saw it with my own eyeballs. I struggled to believe it. The velo is still there, which is usually not the case with a lot of the guys on this list, especially the starters. They're getting by with location and guile and changing speeds and, good off-speed stuff that they can locate. Liz still has gas. Like, he still has some juice. One of the best pitchers in the league this year. Got hurt and was ineffective down the stretch, but still, 7 earned runs in 39 innings is nothing to sneeze at. No gift capability, but here he is. You can find a bunch of stuff of him online. And the most important thing is that there's a rap career attached to Mr. Liz. This song here is a ditty specifically about his career in Taiwan, where he sings, "I went to Taiwan." It's catchy. It's good. Like,
it's good.
I think
definitely recommend it.
Athlete rap usually bad, I'd say. Pretty fair.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Tyler Beatty. But this is good. This is good stuff. But the one thing that's not so good is this is a video of Rodimus Liz rapping. It is the most viewed video on his rap YouTube channel. Rodimus Liz broke COVID protocol in the DR May 2020 and got fined or cited or arrested or something. And this is a diss track responding to the authorities and the police for citing him for breaking COVID shutdown rules.
Yeah, which is not a great look. But again, I would recommend watching this video. I mean, maybe I feel like we're far enough removed, in May 2020, maybe you wouldn't be laughing. But now I think that while this is not responsible behavior we would promote,
it's certainly entertaining behavior.
It's certainly entertaining.
I feel bad for this country, but this is tremendous content.
It is tremendous content. All right, let's move to number 7, another very recognizable name on this list. You all know about Jumbo, as they call him here, but it's really Humbo. Tell us about Humbo Diaz.
Humbo. It's a soft Jota Jordan. Probably one of the more well-known guys on this list because, let's just get into it, right? His name's not Mini. His name's not Micro Diaz. He is Humbo for a reason. He is big. He is a big
That's a big
guy.
boy.
He's a big dude. He, at one point, at his heaviest, I think was around 350 pounds. He's down, I think, around 300 now. More mass, more gas. He threw cheddar. Came up with the Dodgers, bounced around, ended up kind of sticking with the Reds for a couple of years and was pretty good for them with Tampa. I'm honestly surprised he didn't get another shot in the bigs after that 4-year stint. Since then, he's been in the Mexican League. Like I said, it's where they go when you lose your gas a little bit. And he's been one of the better relievers in LIDOM the last handful, or really like forever. He's pitched the last 15 years. Has bounced around, went from Estrellas to Toros, back to Estrellas, and then traded to Leones. He won with Estrellas when they won their first championship in 50 years back in the 18-19 season. He's pitched for every team except Licey, which is great. The idea that a player could play for every team in a league is wonderful. He's second in appearances amongst active players. But yeah, I mean, he's a big guy. Like, this is a little clip of him throwing. He uses all of it. He's in his late 30s now. He is one of the more respected clubhouse guys in the league. Definitely someone who's beloved. Now, a weird quirk of the way that the Caribbean series works, for those of you uninitiated, the Caribbean series is the winner of all the different leagues in and around the Caribbean. Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. I don't think Cuba's in it this year.
Colombia is.
Colombia is, and Panama. That's 6. Yep. But once a player's team is eliminated from the regular season in one of the countries, they are free to join teams in other countries. So Humbo pitched for Escogido during the regular season, did not get selected in the redraft by one of the playoff teams, so then went to Venezuela and pitched for Magallanes, who ended up winning the Venezuelan league and will now be playing in the Dominican Republic this week against the Dominican teams, and Humbo will be pitching for the Venezuelan teams.
Right, and there have been versions of that, right? I mean, last year we had Johan Camargo, who's Panamanian, playing for the Dominican team because he was on Águilas, playing against Panama. So this is pretty common, but for Humbo, I mean, that's like, he's a Dominican legend, you know, and so that will definitely be very strange if he pitches against. Also pitched in the Olympics.
I was going to say, Jordan, OLY.
Oli. All right, number 6. This is one that you probably are not quite prepared for. The only gringo on the list, he's not the only non-Dominican, as we'll get to a couple Cubans, but tell me about Edwin Mclean, because this is not really what probably people are imagining.
Okay, so I think Eastbound and Down as a show ruined the public perception in America of foreign baseball in like a really bad way. And it kind of turned it into a joke, which it's not. Edwin Mclean is the closest thing that there is to Kenny Powers, except that he's nice and like not a bad person.
Not personality-wise.
Not personality-wise, but in terms of like a white gringo who's gone down and just made that his life forever. That's Edwin Mclean. Background: from California, high school pick by the Mets in 2003. Traded to the Diamondbacks for Sean Green, late career Sean Green. Ends up going to the Cardinals on waivers. Called up May 29th, sent back down, called up the week later to make his MLB debut. And as you can see, I mean, we can't watch the video, but from the screenshot, I think you could probably tell that it didn't go all too well. He allowed a walk-off home run to Chris Iannetta on the 5th pitch of his major league career. He made one more outing the following week and was sent down, never to return again. I interviewed him about this moment. He told me that it was a 3-1 count, and he wanted to throw a changeup, and Yadier Molina put down a fastball. And he was like, well, I just got here. I can't shake off Yadier Molina. And he threw a fastball, and Iannetta hit it into the stands and won the game.
Oh, that's tough. But the good news for him is that was not the end of the story. In fact, it was only the beginning.
Goes to Japan, pitches for Oryx. Then he goes to the Mex. He's like pitching in the Mexican League a little bit. Like sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But he is a LIDOM legend. He has thrown for Estrellas every season since 2010. He is the king gringo of the Dominican Winter League. He's the gringo? The king gringo? He's the guy. Here is the bio. He is 9th all-time in league history in starts, 8th all-time in whip, 2nd amongst active players in innings pitched, career 3.13 ERA. All of that means he will be the 4th non-Latin player to make the Dominican Hall of Fame, behind Ralph Garr, Mickey Mahler, and Alonzo Perry. He's like, he just goes down every year. He doesn't really pitch during the summer anymore. He just told me he stays in shape and hangs out with his kids and does clinics and then just goes down. And
9th all time is insane. This is a league with legitimate history. This is not a young league, right? This is over half. This is like 60, 70 years.
100 years.
100 years. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know how far back the stats go that we know for sure, or how long the seasons were then, how many teams, whatever. But the fact that this guy is so far up on the all-time leaderboards, who did not make his first LIDOM start until, I mean, I guess he made his first one in 2008, but I mean, he's been unbelievable. He was there before his debut and after, and he's still going. He's still down there this year. Now, it is worth noting.
Yeah.
It seems that he's sort of coming to the end of the road here. Mclean is now 39, and this was the first year where his effectiveness really seemed to slip. He wasn't starting as much. He was more of a long reliever. Hopefully, there is still one more Mclean run, but I wouldn't be shocked if it might be coming to an end. But my goodness, if it is over,
what a run!
What a freaking run!
And most of the time, I mean, he was like mid to low 80s from the left side.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how hard he was throwing in the big leagues for his 2 games, but yeah, he's not throwing very hard. All right, we're gonna keep it with the Strayos for number 5, and that is Werf Daddy, Werfin Obispo. You never forget this name when you see it, and you never forget this pitcher when you see him pitch. He was originally signed by the Red Sox a good 20 years ago as a shortstop. He didn't really make it out of the complex. Eventually got released, ended up back on the Reds. He pitched in the DSL for a little bit. And then he goes to Japan from 2007 to 2011. He's in Japan with Yomiuri. Then he comes back 2011, 2012. He returns, goes back to the Reds. And then from 2012 to 2015, he is in the minors with 4 different teams, the Reds, the Braves, the Pirates, and the Brewers. And he pitches 120 games at AAA. And he was pretty good. Like, he was definitely walking a lot of guys. But all things considered, his AAA ERA was 4.29 with more than a strikeout per inning. Like, to pitch, it's hard to be a reliever in AAA for that long and never get called up. That seems like an impossible task, but he did it. He never, ever got the call. He just was walking too many dudes. But at the same time, he was establishing his role in LIDOM as one of the capital C closers in the league. He was an amazing reliever for a couple years, and then he becomes the closer in 2016. And since then, he's been their stopper. He's been their 9th inning guy. 59 saves, is 7th all time in the league. And his delivery there, again, we don't have video, but this picture does a pretty good job because you can see that he's basically just stepping towards the third base dugout and just coming all the way across the body. It cannot possibly be comfortable at bat. Still throwing pretty hard, too. He was definitely still low to mid 90s as recently as this past winter. But yeah, his control has never been good, and this winter got even worse. But it didn't matter. Like, he still had the swagger. I mean, there was one outing which was really hilarious where he basically, I think he walked the bases loaded and then got an extremely lucky double play and then struck someone out and was like, hell yeah, like, I'm the shit. And he doesn't care if he gets the job done. He gets the job done. Just an extremely recognizable face and beard and delivery and just everything. And his name is Werfin. And I honestly am just now. It's probably too late. He's still throwing hard enough and still striking out a ton of dudes. He was in Mexico also as a closer. But man, like, I wish Werfin got a shot. He's 37 now. It seems like it's probably too late. He doesn't have a Braziban comeback in him. But yeah, it's just a shame, man.
The issue with him is, like, just don't swing. Just don't ever swing, and you're going to be fine.
Indeed. All right, let's go to number 4. And that is Yunesque Maya. Yunesque Maya, another one that you've probably heard of. He was a pretty big deal when the Nationals signed him. He was one of the best pitchers in Cuba from 2003 to 2009. He defects. He signs with the Nationals in 2009. Right around the same time, he debuts around the same time as Strasburg, which
who would you rather have right now?
Two very different. I don't know. That's a good question. We don't know. We haven't seen much from Strasburg, and I just watched Yunesque put up another great season. Certainly a lot cheaper. He debuts in 2010, and then it was a big deal because it was like, oh man, the Nats, maybe they're oh, they got Strasburg, and now they got this Yunesque Maya guy.
Well, it was also after they'd completely made a fool of themselves in the international market, right? With that scandal.
Smiley Gonzalez. Yeah, that was
Gonzalez. So this was like, oh, well, they got some.
But Maya wasn't really ever anything that special in the big leagues. Just pitched to 59 innings over the next 4 years. Then in 2014, in the middle of the year, he goes to the KBO and signs with Doosan and was really good down the second half. And then they bring him back. They're like, all right, cool. Like, we'll bring Maya back. Like, you know, he was good for us in the second half. I believe it was the first start of the season. If it wasn't the first start, it was definitely early on in April. He throws in 136 pitch no hitter. Again, I encourage everyone to go check out the video on YouTube. Just search Yunesque Maya, Deuce on no hitter. It is an amazing video. He goes totally crazy at the end. But then he was so bad after that he was released like less than 2 months later. And that is a great just example of the KBO, and honestly kind of similar to LIDOM, although it's not as much. You're not going to get released and sent home. But every game, like especially for the foreign pitchers, you know, same way in LIDOM, it's like if you bring in a foreign hitter and he sucks, it's like, get him out of here. Like, we got to get someone else in here.
Yeah.
Same thing with the KBO. Like, if you're not getting the job done, you got to go. And he was so bad after that no-hitter that he was released in the middle of the year. He ends up back with the Angels in 2016. That's where we last saw him in affiliated ball. But meanwhile, even though his stateside career was kind of spiraling, he ends up in LIDOM 2010, same year. He pitches with Escogido. Then he goes to Licey. But really, he has established himself over the last 5 years with Águilas. He has been their ace. He is still throwing mid. It's very, you know, men's league, changing arm angles, throwing like almost entirely off-speed stuff. But yeah, ERA under 3 in the postseason and in the regular season, throws a ton of innings, and he talks a lot of shit. This guy is yapping. He is also extremely, when he's not pitching, you see him out of the dugout after every inning. He's, you know, he is just so into it. He clearly loves pitching for Águilas, loves being in this league. He will be pitching for the Dominican team in the upcoming Caribbean series, and I'm sure he will be as electric as ever in that. And yeah, he's just an extremely entertaining pitcher to watch, both stylistically and just personality-wise. So,
And very fun guy.
yes, that is Yunesque Maya, who is number 3.
Let's get into the Valdez, Jordan. Our next 3 guys all at one time had the last name Valdez, even though this one no longer has it. Jairo Asensio debuts in MLB with Atlanta in 2009 as Luis Valdez. Oh, whoops. Turns out not his actual name, not his actual age. Who among us has not gone by Luis Valdez at one point or another? Like, come on.
I'm going to go by Luis Valdez at some point.
Honest mistake.
Yeah,
you know, it happens. Anyway, like what's the correct way to say this? Goes back to his real name, Jairo Asensio, and just kind of bounces around the bigs with Cleveland and Chicago and Baltimore. He's all right. Like, he's just a guy. He's just like a reliever. He had one decent year in there, but just a guy. Then he goes to Mexico, KBO. Sometimes he doesn't even pitch during the summer. He just kind of sits at home in the Dominican, waiting for the winter, because he is the all-time leader in saves in the Dominican Winter League. He's been the closer for Licey since 2012. He's now in his late 30s, still trucking along. 7th all-time in appearances, 4th active in innings as a reliever is pretty wild.
That is crazy.
He just has Licey's got a lead. He goes out and he gets it. He is very wild at times. There were moments this season that I was down there where it was like, okay, maybe it's time to wrap it up box for Jairo Asensio, but he was great this year.
He still somehow at a 1.27 ERA, at least in the regular season. But yeah, I mean, he's 38. Turns 39 in May. But as long as he can chuck, he's gonna be going, because he's got to keep extending all those records.
Absolutely.
But yes, Jairo Asensio, he's, you know, stylistically maybe not as interesting as Werfen, but in terms of like his standing within the league, it's at the top. So, all right, another Valdez. Let's talk about Cesar Valdez. What we see there is a picture of his rookie card. He came up with the D-backs, also debuted in 2010. I feel like literally all of these guys debuted in 2010.
Yeah.
Like literally all of them. I think our number 1 guy is 2010. I think Mclean is 2010. I think Mourinhas is 2010. I think Werfen should have debuted in 2010. I mean, it's kind of weird. I don't know. It was not on purpose. Very strange. Anyway, he debuts in 2010, and then after that, it's like, all right, well, this dude's not a big league pitcher. Like all these other guys, he globetrots as well. He goes to Mexico. He goes to Venezuela Winter League, Puerto Rico Winter League. He also pitches in Taiwan Wan. And then he somehow incredibly makes it back to the big leagues in 2017 with Oakland. and Toronto. And then he disappears again. He goes, I think he's in Mexico. It's like, all right, well, that's probably it. Oh, nope, just kidding. He's back. 2020, one of the stories of the 2020 season, the Cesar Valdez dead fish. And if you watch, if you know pitch, if you're watching PitchCon, you know what we're talking about. But more importantly, he has become just the dude for Lycée. Now, he debuted a long time ago. I mean, obviously, he's 36. He turns 37 next month. But he really didn't fully establish himself until 2015. He was an incredible reliever in 2016 and 17, right as he was getting back to the big leagues with Oakland. And then the last time Lycée won the championship, he was the finals MVP. As a long reliever, he pitched twice in long relief and threw like 11 innings and won the MVP. And then in 2019, they were like, well, let's just have you start. Like, why not? Like, it's not like you could probably, the way he's throwing, he could throw his million innings. It's not like his arm's going to hurt. So he goes back to starting, and he has just been absolutely ridiculous as this probably the best starter in the league over the last 3 seasons. And he won the Triple Crown this winter. He won the pitcher of the league.
And the MVP.
And the MVP. His postseason ERA is under 2 and over 100 innings. He is just everything you could ask for in a LIDOM ace. And that picture up there too, again, we can't show the video, but that picture up there was his crowning, the moment, this is when Cesar Valdez became president. I think is the best way to put this. Cesar Valdez, we were at this game, and in retrospect, the fact that we were at this game is truly unbelievable. Yeah. But let's tell people about this game and context.
So, biggest rivalry in the league is these two teams, and this was towards the end of the playoff round robin. Both of these teams needed to win to try and get to the final series, and he came out of the game up 7-2 after throwing 100 pitches into the 7th, which is like a lot. That's a lot of pitches for a starter, especially in this league. And like, he just rips his jersey off, Rafael Soriano style, and just drops his glove, and halfway to the dugout just starts screaming at the crowd.
Right.
And the crowd just gets.
It was absolutely incredible. A true baseball moment I will never forget. And again, it was just to watch him be that, and then 7 months later be throwing dead fish changeups in empty stadiums for the Baltimore Orioles was just had to be weird for him too, right? I mean, I'm sure he was happy to be back in the big leagues, and he was incredible in 2020. 2021. You're an Orioles
All
fan.
Right, moving forward.
Let's move to our final pitcher, and that is Raul Valdez. Again, our third Valdez in the top 3, and our third spelling. Let's talk about Raul.
Okay. He first pitched professionally in 1996 when Jordan and I were but a year old on this beautiful planet in the Cuban National Series. He ends up pitching there for 8 seasons, 7 seasons. Defects, leaves Cuba, shows up stateside in minor league baseball with the Cubs in 2005. Ends up making it to the big leagues with the Mets in 2010. Bounces around, like you said, Jordan, 2010. Bounces around. Yankees, Phillies, Astros, goes over to Japan, plays for Chunichi. He's been in the Mexican League ever since, but he's 44. That's the thing to know. He is still pitching. He is 44 years old. Here is a list of major leaguers that he is older than. Jordan, of the names on this list, which one is like the most funny to you?
I mean, the guy who feels the
oldest on this list?
Well, who feels the oldest, or who feels like it's been the longest since we watched them play? I would say for me, it's between Creedy and Brad Penny.
I think Jack Wilson.
Jack Wilson, all of these guys. I mean, and the fact, again, this guy starts pitching when we're 1, debuts when we're in the big leagues when we're 15. I am turning 27 next month, in 2 months, and he is still going. And the thing is, unlike some of these other guys, we talked about Evan Mclean at 39, he's winding down. Once again, he was one of the best pitchers in the league. I mean, look at these stats. It's unbelievable. 3rd all time in starts, only 21 more. Now that's doable. He probably only needs 2 more years to do that.
Yeah.
2 more, maybe 3. But that's, I mean, 7th all time in innings, an unbelievable, just crazy amount of wins, all with Toros also. And just, he's been good in the postseason. He was taken in the redraft. He pitched for Gigantes in their championship finals this past week. And I mean, I don't know. Like he's kind of like Fernando Rodney, right? I know people might be wondering, oh, where's Fernando Rodney? You know Fernando Rodney. He's not a LIDOM guy. Like, yeah, he is still pitching down there, but he's not a LIDOM guy. Valdez, I mean, the thing is people will keep giving him jobs. Like Toros is absolutely going to keep bringing him back. And so it's as long as he wants to keep pitching.
As long as he's effective, like he just pounds fastballs a ball off the plate, both sides, and no one can touch him. It's really an incredible thing.
There was a great start. It happened twice in the championship series. Him and Andy Otero, another guy who is kind of on the fringe of this LIDOM arms you need to know. And Andy Otero, a similar style pitcher, except he's 29 from Panama. They were just throwing changeups away for 6 innings, just back and forth, and none of the right-handed hitters had a chance. And it was like, dude, that's literally the whole game plan. Just either watch it be a ball or hit it the other way. Easy for us to say.
Anyone else who didn't make our list, Jordan, that you want to give a shout out to? I think Enny Romero is a guy who probably could have been on this list.
Yeah, that's a good one. There are a couple relievers too on Estrellas, especially. Warner Madrigal is another guy who I'm pretty sure debuted in 2010. 2008. He's with Estrellas. He's a good one. Dario Alvarez, who you've seen in the big leagues, pitches every freaking game for Águilas, even though he's not very good. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the Caribbean Series because I know we still have a little bit more time. Let's take a look at this schedule. This schedule, what is the thing that jumps out to you about this schedule?
Why are we playing at 8? Why are we playing games at 8 a.m.?
Well, there's a very real answer for that, and that is that we will be playing this whole tournament in one stadium, which I'm pretty sure is not usually the case.
Yeah.
Right? Don't they normally play in a couple other stadiums?
I think it's just one. I think it's usually
okay.
one.
Well, either way, for some reason we're starting at 8 a.m. And that is truly a decision and unfortunate. And by the way, interesting how the Dominican team not playing any of those games.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to play the night games when everyone can pack the stadium. But yeah, tough assignment for the teams playing in the early mornings. Particularly Colombia, who appears to have 3 of those games. But yeah, we're very excited about the Caribbean Series. It is obviously any amount of baseball is great. And this is what we like to say. This is the beauty of LIDOM and the Winter League is that there is baseball on if you find it. This has traditionally been on ESPN. I don't know. I've been meaning to check if it is definitely going to be on ESPN again or ESPN Plus or something. I hope it is. But yeah, I'm excited about this Caribbean Series. It runs through next week. It starts tomorrow, bright and early. I believe 7 a.m. Eastern time. We should say. But yeah, any other final thoughts about this?
Well, what's fun about this is that it is the team that wins the championship in the way that the Club World Cup kind of operates. Like you win your national championship, you get to play in this tournament. Yeah. However, you can take on players from other teams in your league. So Cano is playing in this for the Dominican team, even though he wasn't on Gigantes during the year.
Right.
Because he just wants at bats.
It appears that it will in fact be on ESPN. ESPN Deportes will be streaming this. So if you have that, you can stream it. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to watch some of these games. Last year was a lot of fun. The Dominican team won last year in Mexico, but yeah, I think that's all we got. I know we're finishing a little bit early, but if anybody else has any questions, if they want to put in the chat or any other thoughts. Here's a
good question.
Here's a good question. Do you see the question we have here? Yeah.
Yes, Edwin Usata is a very interesting example of a guy who fell through the cracks of the Dodgers. Like the Dodgers just had too many people in their 40-man.
Too many good players.
Too many good players. I think they DFA'd him. He got picked up by Arizona. He was outstanding this year. He was, I believe, the rookie of the year in the league.
So I'm looking at the D-backs depth chart. Now we're getting into some real analysis here. But
is he the number one?
You say
the number one.
He is
Zach
not.
Gallen.
This is good. Do you want to try and go ahead and see if Jake can name the D-backs rotation? This is good.
Bumgarner, Gallen, Weaver.
Yep. Oh, nicely done. Okay.
Usata.
Well, Useta's not listed, at least for some reason, although, again, I feel like he should be. The only obvious one you're forgetting is Merrill Kelly. And then the guy, Tyler Gilbert, who threw a no-hitter. But I would imagine that Usata will be competing for that fifth spot for sure. I don't even know. I don't even see him on this. Oh yeah, he's there. I think he's on the roster. So yeah, absolutely. He's listed as a reliever on Fangraphs. No, I think he could start. Let's see. I'll have him over Tyler Gilbert.
It's tough to kind of take LIDOM stats and extrapolate them, right? Because that hitting atmosphere is really subdued because a lot of the fields are at sea level, so the ball doesn't carry, and the stadiums are really big, and the ball's not very good, and so it doesn't fly. So like an average ERA in this league is probably like 3.8?
Yeah, lower. I would
3.5 maybe. And so it's tough to copy and paste. But a big thing is a guy throwing strikes, right? Is a guy missing bats? Is a guy pitching deep into games?
Here's what I'll also say about Edwin Usata is as to the question, should you be excited? That's maybe I cannot co-sign on excited about
2021 was tough for Diamondbacks fans. So
that's true. That's
if
true.
You want to be excited, be excited.
Maybe by those standards, you can absolutely be excited. I would not be surprised at all to see him get starts, I guess is the point. He was never going to start with the Dodgers. One more question. This has nothing to do with LIDOM, but I'll take this question. And honestly, I don't know what Jake's answer is, which candy is better, Reese's Pieces or Skittles? This is not sponsored content. Maybe it is. Who knows? Nicely done if it is. Do you have how are you feeling about this one? I don't know.
I'm a big peanut butter guy. I mean, I'm generally not like a dessert maven.
Right. Or even candy. I feel like candy especially is like not your thing.
No, but I like, these are easily both of my top 5. Reese's Pieces though I would prefer.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm a big Reese's cup. Like the cups are elite. The Pieces I think are a little overrated, and Reese's Puffs also overrated. Great commercial, not a great cereal.
How do you feel about people who say Pieces? People do that.
They do
say Reese's Pieces.
Right. And that's definitely. Do they want people to say that? I'm not sure.
Maybe it's pronounced Reese's Pisces.
There you go. Maybe Pisces is pronounced Pieces.
My favorite.
Nick's like, all right, let's get these losers off.
Well,
candy. This is the snack you got to know.
Look at that.
Do you know what this is, Nick?
No.
Okay. This is like cheese puffs, but peanut butter.
This is essentially like the Israeli Doritos equivalent. Like not in style, but like, oh yeah, Bomba. Like we're not gonna have Bomba. Who doesn't like Bomba?
I mean, we all call it BOMBA.
Bomba Squad.
Absolutely.
Bomba Squad.
We are Bomba Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's not Skittles. Skittles to me, like if you have too many, it just gets this weird like feeling in your mouth. It's just overload. It's like saturation essentially in your mouth. While Reese's Pieces, not PCs. You're so right. I've heard that so many times. It's like, wait, that's wrong? Oh yeah, right. It's wrong.
That's not the word. It's not the word. The word is not Pieces. Wait,
is it Reese's or Reese's?
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's, right?
Yeah.
Reese's.
I don't.
It's like no.
It sounds like receipts.
Yeah.
Wait, the thing about Skittles though. What is Skittles not? Skittles is not kosher. Okay, so
that's true.
Kosher.
That is the low kasher gelatin.
We did not. I don't know about you, Jordan, but I grew up not being allowed to eat Skittles because there's gelatin in it.
Yeah, there were different. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're doing this one. Okay, we're doing. See, look. At least they're matched up.
Quédate en tu casa, quédate en tu casa, quédate en tu casa. Por ahí viene la policía. Yo creo que hoy me meten preso.
Let him live.
Por no llevarme de consejo, me lo advirtió mi madre. Me metieron preso. Es que por ahí viene la policía. Yo creo que hoy me meten preso. preso. En el medio de la pandemia yo rompí la cuarentena, yo rompí el toque de queda. Caminando en la calle me veía como un beta. Yo daba galletas, el que no tenía para un peso me buscaba la peseta. Me agarraron preso, desafié a la policía por buscar sonido. Pero al otro día, lindo me veía, con mi escoba yo barría. Qué sorpresa me dijeron, me infecté con el maldito COVID y murió la abuela mía. Y más grande la sorpresa es que ahí vivía toda mi familia. Quédate en tu casa, quédate en tu casa, quédate en tu casa. Por ahí viene la policía. Yo creo que hoy me meten preso. Por no llevarme de consejo, me lo advirtió mi madre. Me metieron preso. Es que por ahí viene la policía.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Yo creo que
Well,
hoy me
you get
meten
the
preso.
gist.
Yeah.
Por no llevarme de consejo, me lo
I tried to
advirtió mi
find one
madre.
with
Me
subtitles.
metieron preso. Yo nací
not that popular.
bueno como el
Popular.
vino. Pa' cuidar
Maybe
tu
not
paso,
far.
que de aquí para
Dude,
adelante.
the
como tú
Taiwan
caminas,
one
yo
is
camino,
arguably
con
even
paso
better.
firme.
Oh, the Taiwan one
Porque
is
el chamaquito
Yeah,
a temprana
play-
edad,
I don't know how you
la
find that
calle
one,
no
but that
firme.
one
Y
I
no
Oh, yeah, I
te
got this. Okay,
guindes,
fine.
tú no te das
Yeah,
cuenta
that
que
one
lo
is
están criando como
is
un
much
beta.
more.
En la
It is less
calle,
about
eran su
complaining about the
galleta.
police. It's a lot more
Demasiado bulto de
lighthearted.
escopeta.
I
Consiguió
heard
una
more-
Glock
I heard
y
most
se le
popular, so I
enganchó.
just sorted it.
Ahora le llaman el señor controla todo.
But
Pero
you
en
can-
cuarentena él desafinó. Llegó la policía y no pudo usar la Glock. Por ahí viene la
I mean,
policía.
yeah, that's a world-class pitcher, right?
He's got,
Yo
dude,
creo que
he's
hoy
got
me
bars.
meten
guy.
preso. Por no llevarme de consejo, me lo advirtió mi madre. Me metieron preso. Es que por ahí viene la policía. Yo creo que
We'll
hoy
have to
me
get this
meten
translated.
preso. Por no llevarme de consejo,
Where's the
me lo
genius? She
advirtió
should
mi
do a
madre.
genius video.
Me metieron preso. Me metieron
Oh my God, that's so
preso.
funny,
Me
dude.
metieron preso. Por tan
Rodimus Liz just
travieso.
sitting down in front of the yellow wall.
Manigue, quédate en tu casa. Y si vas a salir, toma precaución, mi brother. Y a los padres, guíen a sus hijos por el camino derecho, para que no se los filmen a temprana edad. En la calle y los
There he goes.
teniguites. Ja, Home Studio, Radamelis. Hablamos luego. Me quité.
I like, is that a cop? It's like a dude wearing a.
He's undercover. Like I think that maybe a rethinking of the role of law enforcement in society is important and necessary, and we don't have to get into that here. But
No, I
like
think we do.
So funny story. I didn't realize that wasn't the video you were talking about.
No,
okay.
that was
that was
that
was
was.
that was
the
the one. But you want to
yeah.
see the Taiwan one though.
The
Well,
Taiwan one is better. The
Okay.
Taiwan one has subtitles too.
All right. Oh, beautiful. All right.
Yeah,
let's
if we
do
could play the
this.
Taiwan one, if we're still trying to kill time, that is absolutely. Oh yes.
This
Oh
one's great.
yes.
This one's good music. He's
Sorry
dad.
for how loud that was. I got it now. Figured it out.
Here we go.
So also, I gotta remind everyone. Look at the score, by the way.
20 to 3.
Oh yeah.
It just seems like he had a really great time.
What? Oh, he's like shouting out his teammates.
This is great.
Yeah, man.
I feel like every team has to make one of these.
Oh, I came with a contract.
We want our athletes to connect with the fan base. This is that.
Exactly. Right. How do we reach kids? How do we get youths in the game?
So I also love this too because this is after he is awesome in the
Hey,
KBO.
that's in a stray house ring. You see that?
Yeah, this is after he's good in the KBO, good in Japan, and then he goes to Taiwan One, and he's just a beast. And look at this. I mean, where are these performances? Was he doing these shows in Taiwan after his games? Why does he keep saying Mexico? I'm
Because he went to Mexico, I think, to pitch in Mexico after that.
Melis. I love that Cho going 2 for 2 is worthy of its own line, repeated multiple times.
Oh, hey, man. Hey, kid.
Is this just his kid? Amazing.
Anyway, Rodimus Liz.
Unreal.
Rodimus Liz is a pitcher to know. He's a name to remember. It's the equivalent of like the 7th best pitcher or like 5th best pitcher in the majors, just having a rap career on the side. I mean, I guess if Tyler Beatty had panned out, maybe we would have that. But
I know you like Tyler Beatty, Nick.
He still can pan out.
I don't know if he could be the 5th best pitcher.
Nick has been very public about his Tyler Beatty rap career. It's because of Young Beta, right? I mean, that's why.
Of course. I mean, that's the only reason why I would ever consider him.
His lyricism is inspiring.
Is it? I've actually never seen this. I didn't even know he was.
Oh, this might make you round down on.
Don't put this on right now.
Do not. This is more of a yes.
This is like a glass of wine, like after a long day of work on the couch type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If I really want,
I mean, you should watch.
Out.
We don't want to promote it. You know what I mean?
I want to promote Rodimus Liz and his, his flaunting of lockdown. Again, like distrusting the government. Like I'm down with that. But like,
does he play his own music when he his warm up song?
I don't know. I didn't know about the music until this week. In fact, I sent it to a front office person in LIDOM, and they said they didn't know this was a thing. So
it's clearly not a secret.
No, it's not a secret. And there have been other LIDOM stars who have, had rap careers. Ronnie Rodriguez is one who is I think his videos have hundreds of thousands of views. I think his rap name is El Felino.
Yeah. That's
Felino. There's one where he's wearing his Tigers jersey, taking ground balls.
Mm-hmm.
What?
In front of a car.
Right. They filmed it at a baseball field, right?
Yeah. Do you have a name for this?
That one you should definitely play. For again,
De
La Vida Real.
Let me see.
We'll find
that's not it.
He was such a. He plays for Aguilas too. He didn't really play as much this past year.
Is this the guy?
It is. Oh, El Felino, Mi Sueño video oficial.
Mi Sueño. Okay.
Just type in El Felino, Mi Sueño, and it'll pop on up.
Oh wow. Okay, I gotcha.
This one's great. This has 1.1 million views.
This is a good one to end on here. This is good. Again, we don't want to. We're only bringing you the best.
You can see the difference in the production quality too.
Just to make sure, it's the one where he has massive abs on the photo.
Massive abs. No.
It's ex Jerry L. Sonadino.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should have 1.1 million views.
What should have 1 point?
That's so many views.
I see 6.3. All right, hold on.
6.3 million?
No. Okay.
Here, I'm gonna send it to you.
We got to make sure we're showing the right one here because this is. I remember seeing this one for the first time.
What?
I just sent you a link.
All right, cool.
It's so good.
Wait.
More music careers for professional athletes, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. I just need to just gotta do this.
Good.
And I mean, have you guys ever considered putting out a Cespedes family barbecue song?
No.
Why not?
Honestly, I feel like pointing people towards these songs is every bit as valuable as us making.
No one on the internet hears us talk and they're like, "Wow, I need those guys to make music."
Know your role.
So.
Oh yeah! What a freaking! This is probably his debut.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Oh.
And the Jeter.
The Jeter. Look how freaking. Okay, can we appreciate how bootleg that jersey is?
No, but how good the production quality of this video is.
Right, he's wearing his Caribbean Series jersey. Oh, right, he parks the car in the infield.
There's so many cuts.
This is definitely the academy that he came up with too, right?
Probably right. We were wondering.
But I think this is a good example, like to be real for a second, this is a great example of like how a mid-level infield utility guy that we never think about is an enormous deal. You know what I mean? Like, he's a superstar down there, and he's like a two-win career player.
Does he have a team right now? Oh my God, he's in Taiwan 1. Dude, he needs to make a Taiwan song also. He was in Japan last year.
I mean, can Manfred like bring this to the negotiations? Be like, you gotta put in this that every single team has to make one of these.
Well, every Dominican team does have its own song. That is another thing.
Yeah, I want like baseball teams to have like the fight songs of old, you know?
I think American baseball fans are generally too cool for school, and like don't compared to other American sports and like international baseball, we're just so lame. You know, there's no, we don't have we have Go Cubs Go. That's what we have. We have Go Cubs Go is like our song as a sport. Really?
I mean, we have Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Yeah, but got that. That's the most
It's
cool
very similar
thing
to
ever, you know?
Take Me Out to the Ball Game is a bop, but like, what do we have? Center Field by John Fogerty? Really? That's it? Come on.
I don't know if
more of
the
it.
national anthem or Take Me Out to the Ball Game, right?
I love the shot there of him taking a lead from home and then running to first.
I like how Ronnie is wearing his Road Caribbean Series jersey, and the guy singing the chorus is wearing the home one. You notice that? Also, let me say, ads up and down this jersey, and like everyone still has a good time. So you know, it's
Yeah, don't
I'm not like,
knock
you know,
until you try it.
don't call me a corporate shill, but like you could slap a Squarespace logo.
Do it.
On
Do
a
it.
jersey,
Make
like the
commercials
world's not gonna
shorter.
fall apart.
Put the jersey. That's place and place fixed just like that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the
Time of
idea
game.
that you make that they're gonna remove money to put it somewhere else. Like they'll have the Squarespace plus like 3-minute commercials. This is just a whole opening up like a whole world for me.
I know,
I
man.
love it.
Oh, look at the players. Oh! Who's pitching? Who was pitching? Who was that?
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you guys so much.
Of course.
Dude, that was
really giving us a lens into this culture and this world that like we are just not nearly as educated on as you guys are.